Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. I have my Essence Team Flawless denim jacket on today because today's video is in collaboration with Essence Cosmetics. As you guys know, I'm part of the hashtag Team Flawless with my girls Nuzar, Mithlali and Refill Wear, and today I'm going to bring you my highlighting and contouring routine using my Instaperfect foundation alongside these new lightening and darkening drops. You guys, these are amazing and I'm going to show you how I highlight and contour with them. So let's get started. So I went ahead and started with my brows and eyes off camera, but I will link all of the products that I used down in the description box, so make sure you check that for like product links and stuff like that. So I'm going to get started with my skin. I don't have anything on my skin. I'm going to be starting with the Prime Studio HD Hydra Coconut Priming and Setting Spray. I love this, you guys. It smells absolutely amazing. It's my favorite primer and setting spray, especially for summer, and if you have like a little bit more of a drier skin type. And then we're going to go ahead with primer. I'm going to use two primers today. I'm going to use my favorite one. This is the Fresh and Fit Awake Primer. It's a brand new one. I just opened this one now because I think I finished like two of these because it's genuinely my favorite primer. Sometimes I literally wear it as moisturizer. It's just so beautiful and has like an iridescence to it. It's just so pretty. I'm also going to be applying some lip balm because my lips are feeling so dry. So I love this Smoothie Gloss Crazy Mango lip gloss. You guys, I love these so much. I keep this in my bag and I top it with lip liner sometimes because it's just so pretty and tastes and smells amazing. And then I got this yesterday. It is a glow boosting pore minimizing primer with pink clay. You guys, first of all, this is just so cool. So have a pale complexion, this ultra soft primer is here to help. The texture with natural pink clay gives the face a fresh touch and minimizes pores with a wide awake radiant complexion. So this is what it looks like. Show you guys a little close up. I'm just gonna, ooh, smells really nice. I really wanted to try this today, so that's why I'm using two primers, but I mean, you honestly don't need to use two primers. And then for foundation, I'm going to be using my Instaperfect liquid makeup. Today I'm going to use the shade 50 because I feel like my skin looks a little bit dark today, but I normally use shade 40 for those of you who are curious. This foundation comes in 9 shades, you guys. How amazing is that? And I feel like this is like a perfect match to my skin today. The 40 isn't much lighter. I feel like this foundation comes in like so many different undertones. Like the first 3 shades are pretty pale, but one of them have like a pink undertone, one of them have like a yellow undertone, and one of them is very neutral. I find that shade 40 is the easiest to get away with if you are more or less my skin tone. I'm not like super fair, but I have quite a fair skin tone, but some days I am a little bit darker than other days. So I'm just going to blend this onto my skin with a damp beauty sponge. Just a light little layer, maybe two maybe 2 light layers. And if you haven't seen my flawless foundation routine on this foundation, you guys should totally check it out because I talk a little bit more in depth about this foundation. But what I love about this is it's like a super matte finish, but has like buildable coverage. So you can do 1 layer, you can do 2 layers. So the amount of layers that you do depend on, you know, the coverage that you're going to get out. And my absolute favorite thing about this foundation is the fact that it's matte. It has like a matte effect, but it allows you time to blend it properly into the skin before it like mattifies. Because sometimes with some other matte foundations, it dries so quickly, you have to work so quickly that sometimes it can look cakey. So that's like probably the main thing I love about this foundation. And also for the fact that you can barely feel anything on your skin. It's so insane. I love the way this feels on the skin. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to be taking my Instaperfect foundation and I'm going to be adding these new darkening and lightening drops to the foundation. So I'm going to start with a small amount on this little foundation mixer, and I'm going to start by applying some of these darkening drops to the foundation so that I can create my own little cream contouring shade. That's like one little drop, and that's how dark it made the foundation. So I'm gonna go ahead and do one more drop. Okay, so that looks like the perfect contouring shade for me. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to be applying the contour just below my cheeks. And then what most people do is they kind of cup their cheeks, or they will stop right over here. And my little tip, if you have a little bit more of a rounder face, I think I have like a round heart-shaped face, but if you want to elongate your face, you can drag this down like so, and this will create some sharp lines. And I'm going to go by the jawline. And then if you have like a really big forehead, you would apply a lot of the product over here to kind of shorten the forehead. If you have a very broad and like round face, you would apply most of the product on the side to kind of slim the face. So essentially what contouring and highlighting is it is pulling back all of the features that you almost don't want to see. So kind of like below the cheekbones, you want to pull that back, and on the sides of the forehead you want to pull that back. Your double chin, you want to pull that back, and then under your eyes, your forehead, your bridge of your nose, cupid's bow, your chin, and like a little bit underneath where you contour, you want to highlight and like bring forward so that that is kind of like emphasized. So what I'm going to do is I have probably like a normal to slightly bigger forehead for my face shape, but I do have a small face. So I'm going to focus most of the product like on the side, stopping there, and then as I blend it, it will kind of blend a little bit to that side. And a little trick when it comes to nose contouring, if you have like a really long nose, you would shorten the tip. If you have a very short nose, you would do just like I do, and you won't cut off the tip, but you will essentially just elongate the nose. And I always like to connect it with my eyebrow because it kind of just ties everything together. Okay, so normally for my highlighting part of my cream contouring routine, I would use concealer. But I'm not going to do that today because I want to show you guys how versatile this Instaperfect foundation is in conjunction with these highlighting or lightening and darkening drops. So I'm going to use a lighter shade of foundation. So we used shade 50 for the face, and I'm going to be using shade 30 to highlight. So just 2 shades lighter, and I'm going to be using a little bit of that on this little tool that I got at my Essence event yesterday. So you guys have to go check out that little vlog that I posted. I will link it down below. And then I'm going to be taking my lightening drops, and I'm going to be applying some of this to lighten the foundation a little bit. You can also use a lot more lighter foundation if you want, or you can use a concealer if you want, but I just wanted to show you guys, if you get a foundation, you can kind of customize it to do all of these like fancy highlighting and contouring. Okay, so that is what the shade looks like. Perfect for highlighting. So where you would apply this highlighting shade is under the eyes. I like to do a little triangular shape, and then bring it up the nose slightly, because I feel like my nose is a little bit like that. So I want to kind of create the illusion that it's not, if you know what I mean. And then I also like to do like the Cupid's bow, a triangle on the forehead, and then bring it down the bridge of the nose. I like to go just underneath where we contoured, just so that kind of like is snatched, like just an extra little bit. I will not be rubbing this in, blending this in, anything like that. I'm going to be using a stippling technique with my damp beauty sponge. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start like right over here, and as I said, just stipple it, because you kind of placed the product where you wanted, and you don't want to like blend it all over the place. You just want to kind of airbrush it into the skin. Okay, so that is what everything looks like blended, and that's what I really love about these darkening and lightening drops, you guys, is because you're essentially using one product. You're just modifying it and shading it for different purposes of the skin. So we did the darkening drops for the contouring and the lightening drops for the highlighting, but I really like to set all of this down so that it just locks everything in place and just makes sure that your makeup stays on a lot longer. So I'm going to be using 3 different powders. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to be using the All About Matte Transparent Compact Fixing Powder. This is waterproof, so I'm going to be using this with a small brush. So I'm going to be using 3 brushes as well, and I love these brushes from Real Techniques. You can find them right next to Essence when you go purchase some Essence product. So I like this smaller brush for under the eyes and in between my brows, and then I will take a different powder, which is the mattifying compact powder in the shade light beige, and I'm going to be taking a bigger brush and just tapping this and like stippling it onto the skin. It has some color to it, but it doesn't change anything to your foundation. And then speaking about darkening the foundation, I like to use another shade of mattifying compact powder. This one is in the shade True Caramel, number 50. And I like to use this to kind of set all of the contouring that we did. So for this, I'm using a Real Techniques blush brush. If you go in circular motions, make sure to go with a very light hand, like I'm barely touching the brush to my face, because if you're kind of gonna rub it, you're gonna move everything around and it's just gonna be a mess. So you can either do that or you can stipple like this. I find that this is probably the best and the safest way to do your bronzer or to set your cream contour. This is a little eye blender brush from Essence, and I'm going to take that bronzer or the darker foundation powder, and I'm going to take a little bit on the brush, and I'm just going to tap where we did the nose contour. You take a little bit of the powder and you do under your lip. This gives the illusion of a bigger, fuller lip. And then for blush, I'm going to be using this Mosaic blush. This one is in the shade 35 Natural Beauty, and it's just such a beautiful natural looking blush. I'm not really an eyeshadow girl, but I like to take this True Caramel powder and just work that into my crease. Even if you are not an eyeshadow girl, I love doing this. I just feel like it ties the entire look together. So I'll do that like in the crease, and then a little bit like underneath. For highlighter, I'm going to be using the Go for the Glow highlighting palette, and it features 3 beautiful highlighting shades. So I'm just going to kind of lightly do that on the tops of my cheeks and like my temples. So you want to put this where the light kind of naturally hits, so that you can look like you are glowing at night. Love that. And then very quickly on my finger, you guys, I love picking highlighter up with my finger and then just like dabbing it onto my nose. So a little tip with this, if you have like a similar nose shape to me, you kind of want to put it as low as possible, not too low where you kind of highlight this part, then it looks like you have like a snouted, like a pig's nose. You have like a very long nose that goes like very down. You want to highlight a little dot shorter up so you can shorten the nose. So I particularly just want to do the tip, and then I like to highlight the bridge just like that. And you cannot forget the Cupid's bow. Okay, and then to finish everything off, I'm going to be using that priming setting spray again. You guys, this is so amazing. It has moisturizing and energizing properties in here with coconut water. So if you love the smell of coconut water and you love feeling hydrated, when I travel, I take this on the plane with me and I spritz it on the plane, and my skin doesn't dry out. It doesn't feel like cracky or anything, and it's not too moisturizing where you look oily. So that is what I love about it. So I'm going to set my face. And then my top tip would be to like bounce your damp beauty sponge quickly onto your entire face. This will prevent any setting spray particles to get stuck and like ruin your foundation and your face makeup. And it also allows you to kind of not blend, but kind of like mellow everything together, if that's even like a thing. If you guys haven't seen my perfect Instaperfect foundation routine on this foundation, I will link it down below, so go check that out. And then I love using these lightening and darkening drops. You can use it for so many things. You can use it to lighten and darken your foundation, concealer, to highlight and contour. It's just such an amazing thing to have in your makeup bag, especially when seasons change, when your skin tone changes, when you are tanned, when you're pale, and when you don't find the right foundation shade, or when you accidentally bought the wrong shade and you need to darken or lighten it a little bit. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and then I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. Mwah.